Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All praise to Yahweh. Welcome back to the second portion of our Sabbath services here at the house of Yehuda. Who the first speaker we had today was the illustrious elder minister Nemuel, along with Minister Elder Ezekiel, Minister Noel, and myself, Minister Michael Israel. Now, with this second portion of today's class, this is the portion of praise. So, without further ado, I'm going to call up the two young lions of the house of Yehuda. Come on up. Praise God.
I'm trying to get prepared for the wilderness.
Is the mic on?
Na 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 na. We gonna praise God every day. We gonna praise God we gonna praise God every day. We gonna praise y'all, come on, y'all. We gonna do this, come on. We gonna praise y'all. So come on, I said this. We gonna praise God every day, no matter what they say. They is in my heart. We going to praise God every day. Come on, we gonna praise God. We're gonna praise God. I said this. Na 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 na. Praise God. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. We gonna praise God every day, no matter what they say. It is in my heart. We gonna praise God. We gonna praise God. We don't do the flag. I don't listen to the Christians. I listen to y'all, cause now it comes first. We gonna praise God, so come on. We gonna praise God. We're gonna praise God. We're gonna praise God. No matter what they say, I'm gonna praise God, cause today is the day that we praise God. Come on, we gonna praise God. We gonna praise God, and I said this. We gonna praise God. We gonna praise God. We gonna praise God. And I said this, and I said this, and I said this, and I said this. Na 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 na. La 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 la
Hallelujah. All right, we're about to have another selection from the young lions of the house of Yehuda.
Come on, we gonna praise ya. 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 So come on, we gonna praise ya. I said this, we gonna praise ya. We gonna praise ya. Come on, we gonna praise ya. We gonna praise ya. So come on, we gonna praise ya. So come on, we gonna praise ya. Oh, this cut the bottle, click and praise ya. Come on, we're gonna praise ya. Come on, we gonna praise ya. Wait, and I said this, we gonna praise ya every day and night. Come on, we gonna praise ya. So come on, we gonna praise ya. 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 So come on, stands. We're the Israelites. We praise God, so come on. We gonna praise God no matter what they say. No matter what they say. We gonna praise God, so come on. So come on, we gonna praise God. Come on, we gonna praise God every day. No matter what they say, we gonna praise God every day. So come on, so come on, so come on. We gonna praise God. We're gonna praise God. We're gonna praise God every day, no matter what they say. We gonna praise God. So come on, we gonna praise God every day. So come on, so come on. If you let me stand up, praise God. We not here to sit all around. We're here to praise God every day, and no matter what they say, we gonna praise God every day, every day, every time we gonna praise God. So come on, so come on, so come on. No matter what they say, we gonna praise Yahweh. Just 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 praise Yahweh. So come on. So come on. So come on.
Hallelujah. All right, unless there's anyone else that wants to get up and sing praise to Yahweh, we're going to go ahead and go with, he took his breath away, didn't he? That was some beautiful praise Yahweh to the young lions. With the, y'all willing, the House of Yehuda choir coming soon. We're getting things, we're going to start, y'all willing, getting things in order. But until that point, we're going to do I want to read a piece. And this piece here was a piece that I had did last week. But Minister Elder Yim, I love him so much. He came to me and said that Yahweh is the artist. He is the greatest, not one of. I said that was beautiful. Praise Yah. Yahweh is the greatest artist. His mixture of colors mixed like mixtapes jamming to the beat of the sun's rays. He spoke life to the wind and it filled the earth's lungs. With his finger, he put mountains in position. If you listen, if we listen, you can hear his voice in thunder. He told the day, take your place with the sun. He told night, embrace the moon and stars. He brought forth through his image man and woman. With his fingers, he carved righteous morals on stones for a people he created from dust to follow. Hallowed be thy name. He used words to create that which is written. The ink from his tongue put names in life's book. He bent down the heavens, riding on cherubs' wings. He wrote verses on the wings of the wind. He even makes the seasons follow rhythm. All praises to him, the King, Ancient of Days, I am, and the greatest artist. Hallelujah. Next, I have the pleasure of bringing up a true wordsmith of the Most High, who walks around with the dictionary. Let us give praise and honor for the Most High, for this sister, Sister Dawn.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh is the greatest, the truest, the creator of all things that exist, both good and evil. Yes, one alone. And his name is Yahweh. His name is worthy to be praised. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. He gave us his law in the book. First 5 books of what they call the Old Testament. And in those books, he has words that he has put in places to give us instruction. Now, if we take any of those words and we go outside of that instruction, intent or not, guess who just tried to pass a law? If we do anything outside a letter, a syllable, a mispronunciation of a word in that law, we have trespassed that law and added our own understanding to what Yahweh has already made complete. Ain't that the problem in the world? See, they got all these different deities. They got all these things. They've taken X and they say, I don't like the way he said X. So I'm going to add Y and I'm going to make it something special. And voila, I have a new understanding of that idea. Everybody come and listen to what I have to say about this X, because it's not what he said X is. Wow. They got whole math problems where you're trying to figure out what X is. Right. I believe they call that a conundrum. And there are lots of answers for this conundrum, but everybody's confused. There are lots of answers for this conundrum, but everyone is confused. Is that truly the answer to that conundrum? Nobody can process it because they're all confused. Please tell me, where's the understanding in all the confusion? If everybody is confused, including the teachers who try to keep the people ignorant of their confusion, but they're still confused, where's the understanding in that? How does that get me from point A to point B where my salvation supposedly exists? Yahweh gave us 5 books that have transcended all the wars and ideologies throughout the entirety of history. Oh, languages. All the languages where they add letters to create things that did not exist before. Yahweh's law has transcended all of those things, and we still don't see the perfection in it because we still want to add to it, because for some reason we are convinced that we have an understanding about it that someone who's teaching us does not have. Wow. If everybody is scholars and teachers, why are there so many places where people are trying to get to learn something? Wow. Now I'm confused. All right, let me get back to the beginning, because if you don't know what's at the beginning, you don't know where you're going. So let me go back to the beginning. The first 5 books have Yahweh's laws that teach you what you need to do. Nothing else you really need to know. Except, oh, guess what? If I can't see where I'm going, I can't bring nobody else out of that darkness either. Oh, back to the drawing board. Got to learn about some other stuff. Yeah, I got to learn about that stuff. It doesn't compare to the true stuff that Yahweh put in place. It's just information that I need to know. Because I got some brothers and sisters that's with me in this cave, and we need to get out of this cave. See that light up there? We need to get to it. How do we get to it? We don't know what's in front of us. We don't know nothing about this cave. See, caves are made of different types of rocks. You don't know what them different types of rocks are. You're going to step on something, you're going to break something over here, and guess what? That opening that's over there is now closed because you didn't know what you was talking about. So now we got to work even harder to get our way out of this cave. We got to learn about sedimentary rocks. We got to know about different types of stones. Some stones are whole. Some stones break off in layers. We got to know what those are so when we step on it, we stepping in the right place to get to where it is that we trying to go. So, I say all of that to say, yes, the foundation is in the first 5 books of the scriptures. Don't add no syllables to it. Don't take no meanings outside of what is there. It's perfect. All you need to do is read it and do it. That's it. All the other understandings that are about informational purposes only. Because you can't help nobody get to the light if you're in the darkness yourself. Hallelujah.
That was a beautiful way to segue into this portion of the evening portion of the House of Yehuda Sabbath services. Unless there's anyone else that want to sing, dance, Brother Royal?
I don't got nothing to say, no,
You got another day? All right, praise Yahweh. Just your presence is beautiful enough, brother. Just your presence, brother. It's beautiful enough.
Yes, sir, I got something.
All right, praise Yahweh. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started with this portion of Sabbath services. Let's turn and start our prayer with the book of Psalms, chapter 93. And let us stand and face the east or kneel. Preferably, if you can kneel, kneel.
You said Psalm 93 already?
Yes, sir. I sure you yes, sir. 93. Psalms 93. Yes. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. Yahweh is clothed with strength wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established that it cannot be moved. Thy throne is established of old. Thou art from everlasting. The floods have lifted up, O Yahweh. The floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves. Yahweh on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waves of the sea. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Yahweh, forever. Mighty Yahweh, we thank you for bringing us together. And we pray that you open the minds and the hearts of the people to accept your word, Yahweh, through the mouths of your servants. For Yahweh, we are nothing without you, but with you, Yah, we have everything. Hallelujah! 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 Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous all the time. Testing. Thank you. Testing. Testing. Praise God. Beautiful. Thank you. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
If you're just now tuning in to the house of Yehuda, earlier we had one of our great elder teachers speaking and covering the deceptions and the confusion of Christianity. And let's turn to Exodus 23 real quickly. And because I want to cover this Psalms 93, but there's something that's been on my mind as well in dealing with this. Exodus 23, we covered this earlier, and it was a very extensive and very fulfilling conversation that we had on this. Verse 13 says, "And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of your mouth." And there was a mixed multitude of points brought out on this scripture dealing with how ministers may present presentations in dealing with other religions, other faiths. And there were some great points brought out. But one of the things that stood out the most was the fact of the job of not just the minister, but the job of Israel. Minister Elisha used to use a term that I love: spiritual jujitsu. Spiritual jujitsu, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's basically just using your opponent's strength against themselves. In order for me to uplift the law, I got to know and teach on what the enemies or what else is out there being taught. Other words, I'm a doctor. You come in to see me. I come in the room and I say to you, you need to lose weight and eat better. And I walk away. Another doctor you go and see for a second opinion says, take these pills, you're going to lose the weight and eat what you want. Now, of course, it's just human nature to take that which is easy. Not having to work out, take a couple pills, burn fat. But what the second doctor doesn't tell you is that while you're burning fat, these pills are going to cause you to have liver damage. May cause cancer. It may even cause you to go blind, i.e. Viagra. They advertise it and they say, this is good for men's strength. And they advertise it. And they'll say, take Viagra if you want your life back. And then when they go through the side effects, it may cause blindness, may even cause cancer. So get your life back. And then it goes back to that. But the only way for me to have you even think about changing your lifestyle, whether it's eating, is for me to tear down certain things. I have to destroy fast food chains. I have to destroy talking about smoking. I have to destroy talking about drinking. I have to destroy those things in order for me to establish you to have a healthier lifestyle. And what I was meditating on, geared right into this conversation, to the lesson, because I spoke with a very wise sister last night. I talked to her, and we was having discussions, and it's deep because are we lax in doing the law? Are we lax when it comes to serving Yahweh? Are we too accepting of things? And I had to meditate on that. Because a lot of us, in a sense, are very accepting of a lot of things. For example, Job. I love using Job. If Job was with us right now, you know what we would tell him? Brother, you living in a bubble. And I understand the context that it was used in, so I'm not trying to do anything out of order or be disrespectful. But a lot of those of us who are righteous, or striving to be righteous, I should say, it ain't Israel that's going to tell you this necessarily. It's your family. You don't go out and your friends. Once you find out about the law of Yahweh, your friends will tell you, you ain't the same. Man, we used to run the streets, man. We had all kind of bras all up in our house, man. You was the man. Now look at you. You all holy now. You all locked up now. Look at you. That's why I don't do religion. Or they say, that's why I love Christianity. Because my God loves me no matter what. If I choose to live with a woman today and a man tomorrow, my God told me that I got a place in heaven as long as I bear that cross. See, it's stuff like that that needs to be destroyed. It's stuff like that that needs to be destroyed. And I thought back about when I did the lesson on Rastafarianism. And I said, well, did I really glorify the Almighty at all in my lesson? And I did. I tore down the walls of foolishness. And see, it's just like, well, let me ask this question. How many of us in here consider ourselves Yah's warriors? Yes, sir. Yah's warrior, right? Now, when you train in your warriors, you teach them the same tactics as the enemy. If all I do is train with Israel, I know what you're going to do with the sword. I know what you're going to do with this and that. But now I'm out there in the battlefield, and I go to yield my sword up, but he's been trained to go low. Now my insides are out. Now my nakedness is shown because I didn't take the time to learn my enemy. I didn't take the time to understand the way he trains. Because let me tell you, not all Christians are fools. Not all Christians don't know the book. There's some Christians out there that study, just like we should. There's some Christians out there that cut the TV off and read the book. Don't think because you see them with a cross that they fools. Don't ever think that. Because we're all hunters and fishers. I don't know much about fishing, but if I wanted to go fishing, I got to study what fishers do. I got to study what fishes I can catch. I gotta know how to bait my line. I got to know how to do certain things, which is going to cause me to do what? Do something that's going to probably be boring and time consuming, but it has to be done in order for me to be proficient in whatever I put my hands in. Now, there was a point brought out about, is the law taught here? And I have to say, yes, the law is constantly taught here. The law is constantly being magnified here. And the one thing that we can't do is, last week, as Minister Yoel stated, we can't get personal up here, just like you can't get personal out there. I'm not going to agree with everything you say. You're not going to agree with everything that I say. But that shouldn't make us disagreeable. It's okay for us to have our mindset, to see things a little different, as long as it's not too obscure from the law or too far from the law. It's okay for us to have that meditation and to have. That's why we have discussions in classes. There's a few things that I wanted to go over, then we're going to go into this Psalms 93. Today's lesson, y'all willing, I'm going to deal mainly with Leviticus 19. We're going to deal with some laws in Leviticus 19. Y'all willing, I'll get to do that. I worked with an elder who was an ex-Muslim. Well, I believe he's an ex-Muslim. He used to be the one that would pray 3 times. He would have his Quran out. And he made a statement. He said, if this white man stopped making toilet paper today, we wouldn't know how to wipe our butts tomorrow. And I said, wow, that was very profound, elder. And it brought me to a question of, do we really trust Yahweh? How many of us truly trust the Almighty? You don't have to necessarily raise hands. It's just something for us all. That's between you and the Most High. But something for us to meditate on is, how much do we really trust Yahweh? How many of us have gardens? I asked that question to myself. How many of us have gardens? I said, Brother Michael, do you really trust in Yahweh? Why you don't have a garden? How many of us are in top shape health? Diet is immaculate. If we're dealing with ailments, is that showing that I really trust Yahweh? When he tells me there's certain things I need to stay away from, certain foods, certain lifestyles. Once we become Israel, I can't do what I used to do as Michael Jones. I'm held by a standard. But I said to myself, I said, I know who we do trust in. We trust in Kroger's. We trust in Duke. We trust in the water company. And it's been said before that we don't prepare. I had to look at myself. I said, if the lights go out today, Brother Michael, would you be able to sustain your family? I got to change some things. Something as simple as training, getting healthy. Somebody come up and smack your girl or your wife. Go ahead, somebody come up and smack you. Can you defend yourself? What you gonna do? Are you gonna turn into the Christian and give him the other cheek to slap? Or you gonna walk over to your wife and be like, I don't know what you did to that brother to make him mad, but that ain't right. No, I'm not defending you. How both of us gonna look with black eyes? One of us gotta drive home. I'm mad you gave up. You just, all that training Elder Ezekiel gave, you just gave up. No. You know why other organizations look so promising? It's because on the facade, they got things together. They got things together. The Muslims, you can't do that to a Muslim woman and not expect some type of repercussion. They constantly train. Those that are heavy in the nation, they constantly train. Them brothers be out there with them Final Call magazines. You can't even be on the street if you don't take some type of physical training. And their uniform. But Israel, we depend on Master because it is part of the curse that it said we will go to for one of all things from this man. But we depend so much on this man. You know, some people say, some of us will be like, it's nothing but wickedness on TV. Ain't nothing but wickedness. Then if it ain't nothing but wickedness, why Israel don't have a cartoon for the kids? Huh? 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 How come Israel don't got a grocery store? Because we so busy thinking we in captivity. Just because we in captivity don't mean the Almighty don't want us to do for ourselves. That's why when he told us in the book of Isaiah to build ye houses and plant ye vineyards, he wants us to trust in him. If I say I'm going to do a coloring book for children to do on the Sabbath day, that's not me not trusting in Yahweh. If I say, come on, brothers, let's get together and open up a store together so that we can stay away from these Krogers. Hey, Israel, let's come together and let's buy some land. Let's buy some land so that we can grow our own produce and sell it. Hey, Israel, let's start up an organization like the Salvation Army or like St. Vincent de Paul, that if you need help, you can come to Israel. But no, I'm saving my money up to open up another Knesset because these ends, I ain't feeling them. Separatism. We're separatists. We're separatists. And we think that because we're here for punishment, that we're supposed to just be slothful. Just because we're here for punishment, we have the mindset of, well, I guess I might as well succumb. I might as well not. Why resist evil? Why resist it? Why should I resist it? I'm in captivity anyway. Might as well eat pork. I've heard elders make I've heard an elder make this comment. I said, elder, be careful what you order. And I ain't saying this like I'm all high and mighty, but I'm saying this because it made me look at the elder different. He made a statement saying, well, we in captivity anyway. So the years following, no, I don't want nothing from you, elder. I'm good. Because all you're going to do is tell me we're in captivity anyway. So, one of the things that we need to get out of our minds that we were brought here to be part of this democracy. Now I'm touching those who may not know, who may even still vote. That we were never brought here to be part of this man's democracy. We was here to build this man's democracy. That's what we were here for. We were here to build the White House, not to inhabit it. And until we get that understanding that we're not supposed to be part of this place, we're going to keep doing what we do to each other. Do we really trust in Yahweh? Yes, I trust in Yahweh. Well, have you called your sister to make amends? No. Well, when someone disagrees with you, brother or sister, do you sit there and contemplate leaving and going to another class? All because of a disagreement? Yeah. See, trusting in Yahweh is an action. It's an action. It takes work to trust in Him. Me and the sister last night had a great conversation about trusting in the Almighty. And one of the questions she asked was, or one of the points she brought out was, how come we don't wear righteousness? Yahweh gave me some insight on that. We don't wear righteousness because we don't like the tailor. We don't like the way that righteousness fits. We don't like the way that righteousness hangs and gives you breathing room. We don't like that. Not to mention, as I stated, we don't care too much for the tailor. So I don't want to wear righteousness. A lot of us wear righteousness on deathbed when we're about to die or when we are incarcerated. When we are incarcerated, now we want to find all type of spirituality then. We want to look for God in everywhere. But then for some of us, as soon as we get out, after we done made promises to the Almighty, y'all, you got to understand, y'all, I made that in jail. It was just me and the brothers. Now I'm out here and the sisters now. It's been a year or two. I ain't had a woman, y'all. You already know. So all the promises that were made to the Almighty have been pushed aside. Turn to the book of Psalms, chapter 50, real quick. And then we're going to go back to Psalms 93. Let's look at Psalms 50. I'm going to start at verse 19. No, I'm going to start at verse 17. It says, Psalms 50, verse 17 states, seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee. When do we cast Yahweh's words behind us? When we're prospering. See, as long as I can go from my house to my Lexus, I'm good. As long as I can look at my closet and say, today is MON day, so I think I'm going to wear the black suit. Let me go in my closet. Oh, okay, let me see. Oh, man, I got all array of apparel and shoes. Wow, I got something to match the black suit. When you can go into a store and not have to ask how much it is, just bring it up. That's when we cast the laws of Yahweh behind us. Man, I know that law of wearing mingled garments is a commandment, but we can't get away from this. And that suit too fly for me to pass up. But it's not until that Lexus turned into a bus card, that house turned into an apartment, efficiency, to where you open that refrigerator, all you got in there is prayers and hope and a little water. It's not until then you go in the drawer and you say, "Let me put my fringes back on. Let me put my fringes back on." It's not until you go to all these different jobs and you try to apply for these jobs and they tell you you're overqualified, you underqualified. The code word for that is you black. It's not until them 20 or 100, hundreds of pairs of shoes are turned into one good pair of shoes, and them the ones you wear on the Sabbath, that we want to then turn. That's how we treat the Almighty, like a backdoor port. That's how we treat him. And when it comes to building and becoming great in captivity, we shun that. We shun that. We will complain about the man and how wicked he is, but this is what we do. Man, this white man is so evil. Man, I hate this. Man, this white man this white man that. Man, this white man this. Oh, I hate this white man. White man hands you the pen. Here, just say your name here and we'll pay your rent. Thank you, boss. This white man, get on my, I can't stand this white man. Now we blackface. See, the one thing that Yahweh showed me was, I want you to succeed. He wants us to be prosperous. He wants us to be comfortable. He don't want us, as David made a comment stating, that I don't want to be too poor, that I break your law. And I don't want to be too rich where I forget your statutes. Just give what's good for me. Just give what's good for me. And we think that it's wicked to be prosperous. Some of us, as Israel, do. You ought to see some of us as Israel. We won't get our locks done. We walk around here just raggedy. Because we're afraid of being vain. We're afraid of vanity. Fool, it's not vain to bathe. It's not vain to have proper hygiene. That's what we're known for. See, here's the thing that we got to realize. Yahweh's mercy is so awesome. The cars that he allows us to have, the food, the clothing, the changing of the apparel, the homes. See, Yahweh sent us over here for a punishment, right? But through his mercy, those items that I just mentioned are anesthesia to help the pain we're going through be just a little bit more bearable. To where you can wake up in your home as opposed to being homeless. Because if Yahweh dealt with us according to our iniquities, we'd be dead on Skid Row. Just being able to walk into a job and fill out the application and get hired, that's Yah's mercy. We weren't meant to be over here to do nothing but be under a punishment. But through his mercy, he gives us things that lightens up the burden. Yes, sir, my brother.
We'll be speaking about blessings in captivity, and should we be blessed in captivity? Let's look to the book of Daniel, chapter 1, verse 17 through 20. And as always, when we need understanding and knowledge and wisdom, we look to the prophet. And the prophet shows example. So I give you scripture so that you can understand exactly what you're saying in your lesson. That this is true. It's validating everything you understand.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 17 reads as thus. As for these 4 children, Yah gave them knowledge. I don't know where everybody gets it. Daniel 1, 17 through 20. Reads as thus. As for these 4 children, Yah gave them knowledge and skill and all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding the king inquired of them. He found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that was in all his realm. And basically what this is telling you is that they were in captivity. And he said there was none like them in the whole kingdom. They stood before the king, and all matters of wisdom and understanding, he found them 10 times better than all his magicians and astrologers that was all his realm. So here they are in captivity, but yet the king is getting advice from them. And they stood amongst them. They ate with the king, but Daniel refused his meats. And still prayed and did everything he was supposed to do under the law in captivity. But as we see, they were still blessed among many men because they were able to sit at the king's table, eat with the king. The king looked to them for advice on all matters of wisdom and understanding, commune with them, and said that there were none like these 4 in the rest of the kingdom. So once again, this is validating everything that you said about we can be blessed in captivity. We can move and not have that depression state. But like you said, it's about preparing and getting ourselves together and understanding that don't take y'all's mercy for granted. Understand that He's blessing us, but you know, the blessings come with a cost. Not to say y'all is in the agenda, but y'all wants you to work for that blessing. Y'all understand that when you give and put down that hard work to get that guard going, when you come through, you see the pretty guard, you're like, that's nice, but you don't know all the work that they put to get that guard there because they're not easy to get going from scratch. So therefore, it's a lot of hard work involved, and y'all want you to put that work in and bless you. You're not going to just, a job ain't going to fall out of the sky. You got to go look for one.
Right.
Yeah, you might not find none. And then I run into you and I see Mike, you be like, man, what's going on? I ain't seen you in a while. Yeah, you know, I'm looking for a job, dead end. Man, you know, we hiring out and we at. Oh, for real? We ain't just running into you by accident. That was by design. This dude's about to give up. You ran into a brother that can help you. And they're going to open it for you. But that's y'all's blessing. But you got to put forth the work. You know, faith without works is dead. You got to put that work in. You got to. And I just look at it like, you can't be blessed in captivity. You're right. We got the Willie Litt syndrome. It's rampant. And we against our own self. We're the biggest critics of our own people. We criticize ourselves more than any other white man has ever done. We savage and rape and pillage our own people more than any white man has ever done. And it's just the Willie Litt syndrome is rampant. And he said 500 years later, this is still working. It's still working. Old against the young, light against the dark, tall against the short. Any little subtlety or difference we can find, we'll use it against people. You wear glasses. I mean, anything we can find, Your teeth, you don't got a gap in your teeth. Your hairline. You got a beard. I don't got no beard. I mean, you got locks. I know it. I'm just saying, it's just as people, we got to reevaluate. The only way we can really evaluate and see who we really are, we got to go to the scripture and find Yah, and Yah will explain exactly who you are. The history is right here. You have to go to Yah and find who you are. And until you know, you'll still be at his table begging for crumbs. I know who you really are as people.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Very good. What I wanted to do, let's turn back to Psalm 93. Let me get through the Psalms. And also, too, I'm opening up for any questions online, here. If there are any questions on anything, please share them. Please bring them forth. As I stated, y'all willing, I will be doing Leviticus 19 once we get through this Psalms here. So let's go back to Psalms 93 and let's look at this first verse. Yahweh reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. Yahweh is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. Now, going back to the lesson earlier, not to beat a dead horse, but look at what it says here, how he girded himself. He didn't have to be raised. He didn't even have to be created. He is the creator. He is self-sustaining, as my brother Michael had brought out one week, that Yahweh is self-sustaining. He don't need to come through the matrix in order to establish existence. See, Yahweh is the one that girds. No one needs to gird Almighty. When they try to teach us in Christianity, which is what let me throw this point out there. When we teach on other spiritualities, or if we talk about sodomites, it's to show the world that nothing compares to truth. So, if we talk about sodomites, it's not to uplift them. Homosexual. See? Beautiful point. When we talk about sodomites, and the scriptures use the term sodomite to explain which is a term used for homosexuals. I'm glad you asked that question. For homosexuals. When they talk about somebody's been sodomized, that's usually an attack from the behind. An elder, when I sat with some elders in New York, he made a statement. He said, when you are a man, it's not the front that makes you the man, it's the back. Because once that's taken, you're no longer a whole man. And I meditated on that. So these sodomites, when we discuss issues dealing with them, it's not to glorify them or to give them any praise. It's to show the world what you see. Because why? Because the world paints wickedness as though it is beautiful. When you it's Xmas season, right? I told my wife, I said, whenever you go into a store, you could be arguing with your mate. You get on my nerves every time we go somewhere. You ask me for something, you need to, and then you na 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 na. You be like, you know what? Their heart get the pitter pattern a little bit. You get the until you snap out of it, like, wait a minute. When you walk into like stores that sell like home goods, places like that sell Xmas trees. When you walk in and you see all the beautiful lights, you forget about what its meaning is. Wickedly great. Exactly. When you're driving through neighborhoods and you looking, y'all could be listening to Minister Elisha, and he could be talking about that Jeremiah 10, and you like, that's right, Christmas ain't. Wow, look at how SC is on that. Wow, how did they look at the lines? You get hypnotized. So that's why things have to be attacked, because they'll make it beautiful. Being a sodomite or homosexual. Let me tell you something. Before I go with the sodomite, let me deal with this Xmas thing. What do they do to individuals? If you ever watch Xmas movies, what do they do? Like the Scrooge. They made him to be this abominable, wicked man. Why? Because they didn't want to celebrate Xmas. Look at how they make you a villain. My children that I work with, if I told a few of them, we don't celebrate Christmas. You thought I called their mama out their name. Matter of fact, they'd much rather me call their mama the B word than to say I don't celebrate Xmas. Some grown folks. No, we don't celebrate Xmas. What the kids gonna do? What did they do before Xmas? The same thing. They ain't going without. My child got an iPad before Xmas. Now we going around taking out second mortgages. Wanting to commit suicide because you can't buy your child a bike. They ain't gonna have no good Xmas this year because I lost hours at work. What you mean you lost hours at work? They got shoes, they eating, they got a roof over their head. But the mentality, oh, and please don't be one that don't give. When you see them out there with that bill, they ain't no wrong. I mean, y'all, you give, but just act like you all got enough for you today. They look at you like you a Scrooge. You be at work, and they'll mock you. Or don't go past Sister Israel desk with that music. Or they'll come over there and do stuff just to mock you. Well, you know, I know you don't celebrate Xmas, but it's just a snowman. Why you ain't give me the snowman over the summer? Why you gonna give me the snowman now? Because you being funny. Normally at the next cubicle, can't even hear them. Their music. Now they blaring it. And then if you don't celebrate this folly day, you evil. You abusing your children. Dang, you don't get them immunized, now you don't celebrate Christmas with them. Thank you, Israelites. But that's the image that's portrayed of us. So if we don't destroy Xmas by bringing out certain points or certain ideals that help to erect this foolishness, then the people will be like, well, why should I come to you? Let me tell you something. Listening to you, Israel, according to your God, you got too many restrictions. I'm going over here to Christianity where I can be what I want to be, eat what I want to eat, do what I want to do, keep Christmas, decorate my house, lay with who I want to lay with, and get a cross. And say, I made a whore out of this daughter, but I'm bearing the cross. No, see, that's got to be destroyed. That's got to be broken. That's got to be shown that that's foolishness. See, the only way you can cleanse your system out is to take an enema. Get that junk out. Get that junk out. We can't just sit on the toilet and hope it all just fall out. We got to work. You got to get that water up in them intestines and get the large and the small intestine together. Change your diet. Quit eating meat. You might have to grunt a little bit to get that out of there. But nonetheless, it has to be done. And what comes out is not smelling good. You ain't going to like it. It's going to make you sick. But then once you find out, if you've ever been, I don't mean to be nasty, but I'm using terms that we understand because we as a people don't eat right. Once you've been constipated and you don't let that go, you back. You back. Your pants even fit a little loose and you like, woo, wait. That was weighing me down. That was weighing me down in Christianity, Islam, all these other offices of religion. They're weighing us down. Some of our people want to come to Yahweh. But if I don't tear down what you hold on to, because our people are like this, we'll hold on to this, but we reaching for Yah. No, I got to tear that down so that you understand that when you walk up towards it, you're like, oh, this ain't strong enough for me. I need to keep walking where the strength is. Because just like a fisherman, you got to put something on the reel for the fish to come to. You got to be, talks about the wise or sagacious, very smart. Ask them questions. If Christ died for our sins, who's dying for us today, Pastor? And they will go into a spiel when they can't answer the question. You ask them about, well, teach me about Christ. Show me the way I need to go. Christ right here, Pastor, Christ, the JC said, or the God of the New Testament, because he's looked at as a God. The God of the New Testament, he tells, I'm told that we're no longer under a law by Paul, but the God of the New Testament tells me to follow the commandments. Pastor, can you explain that? They'll look at it, close the book, and then hit you with you get on that horse, you gotta ride it. Oh. And you stand there like, it ain't got nothing to do with my business. You gotta have that. You gotta have the spirit. People like, I don't want the Holy Ghost. He killing people, impregnating people. I don't want to deal with the Holy Ghost. I'm cool on the Holy Ghost. But explain this to me, Pastor. And see, our people want the truth, but they hold on to fantasy. Just like when they told Jeremiah, they like, Jeremiah, go talk to Yahweh. Whatever he say we gonna do, we gonna do it. He came back and told the people like, okay, well, this is what it is. He's like, you know what? Cease from Yahweh from being amongst us. We ain't feeling this. Nah, we thought you was gonna tell us to go and make whores out of the daughters. It's okay. Like Pastor Bishop T.D. Jakes told us, it's okay. Love, do what you're gonna do, and you still got a place in heaven. See, now you coming back with some self-accountability mess. I ain't feeling that. See, our people want truth, but we love fantasy, don't we? That's why we hold on to relationships longer than we really should. Why? Because the person you with feeds into your fantasy. She might got that Beyonce bill. She might do all them little things with poles. And that's what got you. But everybody else is like, man, she cute, but man, she's a harlot. She ain't gonna do you no good. You go up to her and be like, baby, look, I know I want to marry you one day. We gonna have to walk with Yahweh. And she say, I ain't walking with nobody. I'm about getting money. And they do this. I'm about getting money. And in your mind, you know what you hear? You hear, there's still a chance. I'm going to change you when I marry you. When you get my last name, you going to change. You're like, brother, she don't even want to come to class with you. And y'all just friends. What makes you think what she going to do when you get married? So that's why that's why things need to be ripped apart, torn down. And it might result in some name calling. It might result in some things being said that may hurt some feelings. You know, it may take mama saying, you better leave that double H-O-R-E alone. Mama! Yeah. Your boys come up to you and be like, man, she a doc, man. She be out here H-ing all over the place, man. She laid with my boy. Matter of fact, when I dropped off at your house, I just got done with her. But all you hear is, when I give her my last name, she's going to change. Oh, she ain't going to change, man. So sometimes that truth needs, that's how our people are. But let's go to, let's turn to the book of 1 Kings real quick. Oh no, let's turn to the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 16. And also, in the midst of it, there are any questions that that you would like for me to address. We can also go over testimonies as well if there are any more testimonies. Because Elder Minister Newell did go over testimonies. So if there's any that you might have thought of now that you didn't have earlier today, you can bring it forward. But let's go to 1 Chronicles chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse number 8. It says, and this is David. It says, give thanks unto Yahweh. Call upon his name. That's why the Almighty don't want us making mention of any other God. In the sense of to have to be worshipped or to show praise to it. He said you only call upon his name. In a lot of our Bibles now we have L-O-R-D. L-O-R-D is in their place because they took the Almighty's name out of the writings and the translations of the scriptures. The Holy Scriptures, I should say. And it says here, make known his deeds among the people. So once I tear down, rip up, now I'm about to plant, and this is how I plant. I'm going to show you the deeds of Yahweh. If I want to start a garden, I can't take the seeds out there and just throw them in the ground and hope for the best. What do I need to do? I need to get out there, check the soil, make sure it's good, make sure I dig deep enough so I'm not trying to put no seeds in the clay, that I'm actually getting earth. And that takes work. And that takes what? Breaking down. And then once I break it down, I plant. And then it grows. It says, make known his deeds among the people. I heard that, Elder. Verse 9, Elder. We're in verse 9 right now. It says, sing unto him, sing songs unto him, talk ye of all his wonderful works. Today I had the honor, well, this past THUR day, the sister that came, that was my sister-in-law. That's my wife's sister. They got reacquainted with each other. And I talked to her, and she lived in Alabama for a number of years. And we sat and had a conversation about Israel, or just about coming to class, or just talking about, we just having a good conversation. I invited her, and she came. And she said, y'all willing, she'll come back. And what she did, the most important thing that we have to do is just plant the seed. Once the seed is planted, Yahweh does everything else. But it's like I was talking to a sister last night. I said sometimes we don't want to plant the seed and just let Yahweh do the rest of the work. We want to keep going. It's like we in battle. And we already slew our enemy. We already slew him. But we keep stabbing at him and stabbing. He already dead. But we keep, we doing new things with the sword. And it's more of them coming as opposed to, boom, I took that down, now let me come here. Boom, now let me come here. Boom, now let me come here. No, we just like to people tell us like, brother, he dead. Brother, move on to the next. No, he ain't dead. We go back. But if we learn to just plant the seed and keep it moving, we'll be good. In verse 10 it says, glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek Yahweh. I find the zealousness that I hear refreshing. Because for so many of us, we give up on even trying to serve Yahweh. Because we don't want to be ostracized. We don't want to be told that we're crazy. We don't want that stigma. That's why most of us might wear fringes and hide. Yeah. That's why some of us might not. When we go to family houses, we sit off in the corner and be like, you ain't got nothing to say. No, I ain't got nothing to say. Some of us pray. You know, I had to get out of something. Was being afraid to pray in public. I had to get that out of there. No, the world needs to see. Some of us proclaim to be, when on the Sabbath day in class, we Yahudah Israel. You about ready to make a cake for him the way he talking how bad he is. Then you get him at work. Yeah, I came to drop something off to Yahudah Israel. I'm like, who? What are you talking about? John Brown. And then you tell them some good news and they want to take you off to the closet and pray. Let's go pray, man. Let's go pray. No, I ain't hiding. Yahweh didn't bless me in the closet.
Hallelujah.
My wife told me one time she had to go to the store for something. She had lost some money. She came back and the money was right where she dropped it. She said she right there. Thank Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Right there. She said people was looking at me and we was like, it don't matter. Let them look. Let them look. Let them look. When it talks about here, it says, glory ye in his name in secret places. Is that what it says? No. It says, glory ye in his name, let the heart of them rejoice in secret places. No. Wherever you at, rejoice. Now, let me say this. Ain't nobody saying that you got to have a whole revival with tambourines. You go up to your car, get the tambourine, like, yeah, hallelujah, you know. I found this dress 100%. But if it hits you, thank you, Yah. Thank you, Yah. Praise Yahweh. Somebody come up to you, I'm going to tell you one time, me and my wife was in the store and this white guy just came out of nowhere and said, here's $20. I said, praise Yah. Praise Yah. He gets the glory. It says, glory ye his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seek Yahweh. Seek Yahweh and his strength. Seek his face continually. So seeking Yahweh is a continual walk. Does that mean you're not going to slip? Does that mean you're not going to slip? No, it doesn't, man. It don't. See, the slipping part happens. It's how you recuperate from that matters. In verse 12 it says, remember his marvelous works that he had done, his wonders and his judgments and the judgments of his mouth. We are one of Yahweh's marvelous works.
Yeah.
But we don't treat ourselves like that, do we? Sometimes we should treat ourselves like we are a marvelous work of Yah. And every time I speak on this, I condemn myself. I'm not the best in my diet. But I know it's been said before, Elder Dan was like, this ain't, your body's not a temple. That was a comment that was made one time. And it is a temple. It's where the Almighty wants to reside with you. And that helped me to look at things differently when it comes to taking care of myself. Here's the thing. How many of us would want to get into a car and it's pee on the seats? It's been treated any old kind of way. It looked like if a good wind come, they'd be catching the bus. I mean, the car's just raggedy. He ain't taking care of it. It's trifling. Would you want to get in that car? I'm looking at it. She's like, not sure what. It could be raining. It could be a hailstorm. I'll be all right. The bus coming in 5 minutes. Some of us wouldn't even want to eat or drink in a house that's nasty. As soon as the sister opened the door, the brother opened the door, flies coming out. Hey, brother, you want to sit down? No, what we do? We found a spot. Just stand there. Coat and everything. Purse still on if you're a woman. You standing there like this. Make you do this, don't it? The house is trifling. You can't wait to go. You find a reason to leave. Like, I hope my wife called me. She called me any other time talking about she's lonely. Please call me, baby, right now so I can leave. So what do we think the Almighty want to dwell with us? And we putting all type of stuff in our bodies. We're abusing it with not just food, but stress. We're abusing it with just not fully trusting in the Almighty. That's a form of abuse to your body. When we stress, that's a moment where we don't have full trust in the Almighty. So that needs to be practiced. Then it says here in verse 13, O ye, this is where I want to put emphasis on, in verse 13. O ye seed of Israel, his servant. Earlier today, Minister Lemuel stated that we have the greatest job. Does it provide monetary? It could. But as he stated, no. Spiritual. Have y'all ever experienced peace? When you ain't worried about what no man think about you? Where you just constantly you're not unaware now, but you know where one of the biggest obstacles of our people is the fear of death. But when you get in your mind that death comes to us all, and you just like it is what it is, and you do and we do what we need to do to praise the Almighty and understand that we're His servant, that's total peace. When you get a disconnect notice and you laughing at it like, I've been waiting to use my candles anyway. With a repo man saying, I'm coming to get your car. You like, well, you know where I live. It'll be parked out front. You know where I live. You know where I'm at. Not driving into this friend's house and hiding in shacks and hiding in the garages where they can't come. No, you just like it is what it is. You come and get it. You come and get it. That's peace. It says, O ye seed of Israel, his servant, ye children of Yaakov, we are his chosen. He chose us. He chose us. You know how much of a blessing that is?
Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
That he chose us,
Thank you.
the American Negro. He loves us so much that he disciplines us.
Thank you, God.
Yahweh loves us so much. He said, you're my chosen ones. But Christianity will have you thinking, see, that's why we have to destroy that. Christianity will have you thinking that, now that's the spiritual Israel. It even have you thinking that well, let's turn there. Turn to the book of Galatians real quick. Galatians chapter 3. Now, my point of bringing this up is not to glorify JC, but to show our people what we're being fed. See, when other things are brought out, I look at that as, let's start looking at it as, when you go to the store, do you read the ingredients list? Or do you just put it in your cart? There you go. When you read the ingredients list, that's going to help you indicate whether or not you need to buy it, right? But you wouldn't know if you don't know what's in it. If you just pick it up because it has a puppy on the front. It might have a picture of a black man with locks. So you would think, or it might even have the word organic on it. And you like, what? It's organic. It's organic pig knuckles. The pig was just fed off the land. It wasn't fed no mush. No, you wouldn't know that unless you read the ingredients. In order for our people to be healed spiritually, they got to know what they're eating. And sometimes we got to read off that ingredients list. Galatians 4, let's look at verse 20. This is what our people are being fed. Now, the mediator is not a mediator of one, but God is one. I apologize, brother. Yes, Galatians chapter 3, verse 20. I'll start over, brother. It says, now a mediator is not a mediator of one, but God is one. Now, that's a true statement that Elohim is one. So that right there knocks Christ out the box. If with someone with a little intellect would see that. But that whole verse outside the latter part of it is confusing. Now, a mediator is not a mediator of one. So don't be surprised when your pastor come up to you and you ask him a question and he start talking about rocks and cheese. Don't be surprised. Be like, I see now. Verse 21 says, is the law then against the promise of Elohim? This is why we got to destroy this stuff. It's saying, is the law against the promise? Exactly, question mark.
So he's saying, like, I ain't saying it, but.
Exactly. He don't want to throw the rock at the crowd, get the crowd riled up and turn around and go to the car. That's what this question is like. It says, is the law then against the promise of Elohim? Elohim forbid. For if there had been a law given, which could have given life, listen to me now, which could have given life, verily righteousness should have been by the law. Do you see what's being written right here? This is why this stuff got to be destroyed. He's saying if the law if righteousness was really given by the law, then in other words, we wouldn't need Christ. It said verily, and we don't. We don't. And it says verily righteousness should have been by the law. Righteousness is by the law. Let me show you something. Turn to the book of Matthew chapter 5. Let's turn there real quick. We go to this verse we go to these verses all the time. All the time. Now, Paul letting us know in the book of Galatians chapter 3 that if righteousness was by the law, check this out. Verse 17, Matthew 5 and verse 17 says, think not that I am come to destroy the law. Paul came to destroy the law. Paul didn't want to keep the law. Paul had a problem keeping his little skirt down. He was all things to all men. He lets you know about how when you do the law, it strangled him. How it drained life from him. That's why so many of our people gravitate to Christianity. Why? Because it gives them a sense of freedom. I can serve any God that I want to serve. I can do basically what I want to do. Because I'm going to tell you, a good Christian is a thief. I'll say it again. A good Christian is a thief. Don't be angry with Creflo Dollar when you find out about. Don't get angry. He's doing his job. He's a good Christian. When you living next door to a good Christian, or when you living next door to a family that believe in Christianity, and they happy and they hugging, and he shows respect to his wife, that's not a good Christian. A good Christian is when you sitting in your living room and his wife is coming through the wall. That's a good Christian. A good Christian is somebody that's going to rape you. A good Christian is. A good Christian is the one that'll take your life without a second thought. Why? Because your God is telling you to not resist evil. But right here it says, in verse 17 it says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. Not prophets, but prophets. Before there was a New Testament canon, there was Torah. It was the laws of Yahweh that filled the airwaves of righteous. There was no Torah during Noah's days. No. So how was he to execute righteousness? It was in his heart, because it had been passed down, and he had understanding. Now look, it says here, think not that I'll come to destroy the law, because as it's been stated and read, that's Christ speaking. That's right. He says, think not that I'll come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. But to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven, listen to me now, till heaven, this is from the mouth of your God. He says, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise from the law pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Let me read that again. It says, verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Mr. and Mrs. Christian, has heaven and earth passed? No. Your answer should be no, because you wouldn't be here. It states here, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Now, heaven and earth is still established. Am I correct? Yes, sir. So that means out of the mouth of your God, he's calling Paul a liar. That's right. And most of the doctrine that's taught in these cathedrals of hell is the Pauline doctrine. That's right. So he's calling Paul a liar. Verse 18 says, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. So your pastors on Sunday don't really got a place in heaven. As Minister Yemuel read earlier, that he don't know these men. That's right. He don't know these women. And then here's the thing. If you are, and this is just a little sidebar, if you're a female evangelist, you ain't even supposed to be teaching. According to your own book. And they'll tell you that this whole Bible is the Word of God. And I trust in God. Then if you trust in God, then why are you preaching? Matter of fact, your book teaches that the only way you're going to get any type of salvation is to be basically barefoot and pregnant. Now you want to call the Torah sexist. What's more sexist than that? We have female prophetess. We have female judge. We have females that led and didn't have a problem doing it. We didn't have a problem with it. There were men, valiant warriors, who didn't want to go to war without their queen, their judge, which happened to be a woman. But your book says you can't even speak. You got a question, wait till you get home and ask your husband. I feel for the women who don't got no husband. They just ASS out. I spelt it, didn't say it. It says here in verse 19, whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them shall be great, or called great in the kingdom of heaven. So Christ is saying that your ministers at the house of Israel are considered great. Your ministers at the house of Yehuda are considered great. Those that's teaching, those that are Torah-based, that are teaching the laws of Yahweh are considered great. But the Joel Osteens, the T.D. Jakes, the Creflo Dollars, these other so-called up-and-coming evangelists, are considered least in the kingdom of heaven. Now let's turn back to that Galatians chapter 3. Now mind you, Paul said that righteousness should have came by the law. But the same man that he's perpetuating and putting on a pedestal said that the law basically is still in effect. Heaven and earth is still established. Verse 22 states, but the scripture hath concluded all under sin, that the promise by faith of JC might be given to them that believe. So in other words, just believe. So I got a test that I want to try out. For those who go by just believing. Let's see if that theory works. This is what I want you to do. When class is over, if you have a car, I want you to unlock the car, sit down in it, test your God. Test your God. Sit down in it, put the key in the ignition, and sit there. And have faith that this car is going to start. Test your God. If this is God, Yahweh lets us know. If this is God, he said, try me. Try your God and see if that will work. And then write it in. Write it in. Show us. Verse 23 states, but before faith came, listen to me now. It says, before faith came, we were kept under the law. Wasn't Abraham called one of the most faithful? And he kept the law. The most faithful. The most faithful. A friend, Moses. A friend of God. And Moses was the most faithful. That's right. That's right. And they was under the law, weren't they? You would think, according to this, that's why stuff like this got to be ripped to shreds. Look at this. It says, but before faith came, we were kept under the law. Shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be revealed. So the law, honoring my mother and father, not laying with my neighbor's wife, that was wrong. Because faith supersedes law. Explain that to me, Mr. and Mrs. Christian. I'm going to give you an opportunity to send in anything. The one viewer that's out there, I know you're listening. When I teach, y'all willing, you're on there a lot. Just you, the one person. I appreciate you listening. Praise God. He sent me something. You know what? I'm going to take a pause for a moment to take a comment from one of our guests online.
He sent you, this is, I guess, Brother Joseph Graham. He sent you 1 Corinthians 11:4.
Let's turn it. You know what that is. 1 Corinthians, what chapter?
11:4.